Greetings, Mayor Jeff Schielke speaking to you on Friday, September 10th, 2021, and got a little bit of material to cover this morning. One of the things I certainly want to begin with is that we continue to have the need to tell people to please wear your mask, specifically if you're inside, and many people wear them constantly, many other people don't wear them at all. So we're just asking for voluntary cooperation and understanding, and our corona numbers in Batavia have been relatively good in comparison to a lot of other areas, and so we would like to keep that trend going in the right direction. So if you haven't got your shot yet, please get a shot. You may want to keep your ears open if this new supplemental shot is released here in the next few days, and sign up for that. And of course we have the shot or the vaccine location out there in the old Sam's Club building on Randall Road, and that's still there sitting ready in case something else comes, for the moment at least, so we'll see how that comes together. And finally, again, please wear your mask. I try to wear mine. Many times I pull it down specifically if I'm going to talk or be at a meeting, because it does muffle people's understanding. And I've had people complain to me about watching city council meetings on TV and not being able to understand what's being said because the speaker had their mask on and muffled their voice. So there's a lot of ins and outs to this whole thing, but please keep us ever in mind that we're trying to beat this thing, and please be cooperative in your spirit. As you know, we are tomorrow going to observe the 20th anniversary of the terrible moment of 9/11/2001, when a terrorist attack was performed on the United States and did a number of things, including the destruction of the Twin Towers in New York City. Interestingly, as time has unfolded here, we've found that in the case of Batavia, we did have a long-time Batavia-educated resident who was in the Pentagon at the moment of the attack, and that was Chuck Wachonki, who was the son of Carl and Ruth Wachonki, lived over on North Avenue in the 600 block. And he went to Batavia High School and graduated in 1964, and then went on to West Point Military Academy, where he graduated, as later did his brother Ross, who was in the class of 1967. And Chuck was in the Pentagon and is telling the story, and I've recently made contact with him, and the Historical Society, I know, is anxious to record his story so that we can keep it on Batavia record for future generations to read and understand that, you know, this thing was a terrible moment, and a lot of places were touched, including Batavia. And in the case of our particular resident, he was able to survive the attack, although he was pretty near where the impact of the plane that went into the Pentagon was, but he was able to pick himself up off the floor and get out of the building. So please be remembering that tomorrow. Tomorrow at 7:30 in the morning, the Batavia Fire Department at the East Side Station at 800 East Wilson Street is going to have a brief memorial service. And then later on the evening here, make sure I got this right, the Batavia VFW is going to have a country music recording service, starting with country recording artist Bill Gray. Will be starting at 6:30, and at 7 o'clock they're going to have a brief memorial service, and then the music will resume, and it's open to post members and guests who would like to come. And it's a free admission, and there will be food available, and the liquor, and Bill Gray's music will perform both before and after the memorial service, which I think is not intended to be very long, but as is the necessary role of the VFW, they want to do something to commemorate, you know, an important moment in the history of our country, and they are going to be doing that. Today I am told that I need to announce that today is Worldwide Suicide Prevention Day. It is observed each year, and it's a time to remember those affected by suicide, to raise awareness to this, and to focus efforts on directing treatment to those in need of it who are contemplating suicide. If you are in crisis or you know someone who is, there is a phone number to call, which is 1-800-273-TALK. And if you call that and you have troubles, there will be trained counselors at the other end of the line who will be happy to engage you in conversation. Then on Sunday, September the 12th, the Batavia Community Band will hold its 4th annual concert in the park, which is at the Peg Bond Center on Houston and Island Avenue. And in the case of bad weather, the concert will be held in the City Council chambers next to the Riverwalk in the base or the lower level of the City Government Center. The concert will consist of many music from different groups, including marches, classics, movie melodies, and patriotic songs. And the concert is directed for both young and old alike, and you are encouraged to bring a chair, lawn chair, a blanket, or just sit on the grass for the concert to take place. And they will be accepting donations to help offset costs that they incur during the year. And as most of you know, the band is largely made up of former Batavia musicians from the Batavia School District, and then some others who came from some of the surrounding towns who want to pick back up on using their instruments again. And new members are always welcome, and the band is directed by former Batavia High School director John Heath, who is now retired, but he keeps his hands into music and does a great job. So if you're not doing anything on Sunday night, the concert will go from 5 to 6 at the Peg Bond Center on the Riverwalk. And then a couple of other brief community announcements. One is that the Batavia Park District and the City of Batavia have launched a comprehensive planning process for the Batavia Fox River Corridor intended to enhance recreational functions, river ecology, cultural importance, and stewardship of the most valuable natural resource we have for the use by future generations, and that's the Fox River. The first step is selecting a dam removal process, which we are being pressured and asked by the state of Illinois how we would like to proceed, and reviewing all the different concepts for the depot pond and what impacts the removal of the dam would have on that. And we would like to have as many people part of the discussion. So the first one is going to be a community engagement open house, which will be a virtual meeting, and that's going to be on Wednesday, September 15th from 7 to 9 p.m. And you can register in advance for this webinar at https://cityofbatavia.net/webinar/register/WN, and then the address, I guess, is XLW CWIX ZQEUJSGE 9KNBLWW. Now, I'm encouraging you to probably go on the city website where that is again, because that's a lot to remember. You'd probably have to play this 4 times to try to get me to listen to me say this, but those addresses that we get on the internet, really, certainly, I'm sure no other person in the world has that address, so if you're interested, please do. And then there's going to be a community engagement open house, which will be held at the Peg Bond Center, and that's going to be on Saturday, September 25th from 9 to 10:30 a.m. in the morning. So give everybody in the community a little chance to make their comments about things. And then finally, of the community announcements, the Batavia Fox River Cleanup Fall of 2021 will be held on Saturday, September 18th from 9 a.m. to noon, and the location is going to be to meet in the parking lot on Route 25 by Clark Island in the skate park at 411 South River Street. You're asked to bring work gloves, some garbage bags, and there will be extras in case you forgot to bring some. Snacks and water will be provided by the Friends of the Fox River, and all participants must sign a waiver, and volunteers under 18 will require a parental signature. And if you got any questions on that, you can contact Gary Schwick at the Friends of the Fox River at greenswick.gmail.com, or visit the Friends of the Fox River Facebook page. And this is always a good thing. It does get a lot of junk and trash cleaned up, and I know they move this idea down, up and down the river each year, so this must be the point of where they're going to do this year. A couple things I'd just like to mention before we adjourn for the week. One of the things that we are noticing in Batavia, and I've had a lot of people mention this to me, that there seems to be, if you're on a cell phone and you've got hands-free in your car and you're talking away, or if you're even just walking down the street, there seems to be locations in Batavia where the cell phone just shuts itself off, and then you have to redial or, end the conversation. And perhaps the one that I've heard the most about is the area around the intersection at McKee Street and Van Noordtrecht Avenue. And for some reason, a lot of cell phones shut themselves down when they go through this intersection, and some of the residents who live within about a block and a half of that location say they have problems during the day with their cell phone. Another place where we are told there's some breakdown is on North Redant Road between Wilson and Fabian. There's a dead area out there. And I was on the phone last night, and I was on Chilm Drive talking to a dear friend, and I was east of Redant Road, and all of a sudden the whole phone just shut down, and I had to make a return call back because the whole thing just shut down. So I think what we'd like to do is, if you are having a lot of experience with your phone shutting down, we would ask that you maybe send me an email at the city or call down and just give us your location, because we're trying to build a log of where all these bad parts are, with the idea maybe we can talk at some future date with the cell phone folks and tell them we've got some, coverage problems in Batavia that are problematic. And so we really need to keep our eyes open and try to get that system working better. So finally, I guess I'd like to end by, again, paying a mayoral comment about the 9/11 experience, that there's probably, it's one of those things that happens to you in life that you always remember where you are when something like this happens. And everybody seems to know where they were 20 years ago tomorrow when this terrible event occurred in the United States of America. And so it certainly was a moment of history to learn from. But I think the one thing that it certainly did was it again seemed to drive and bring people together. And as we have seen recently in Batavia, we have various events now that things are kind of loosening up. The car show we had last week on Sunday, and the party on North River Street was probably one of the biggest attended events we've had in some time in Batavia. We had literally maybe a couple thousand people down here, and it was very good to see the community come together. So I think there is a yearning out there in Batavia and in other towns that, we've all been kind of pent up because of the pandemic and the shots and the vaccines and everything. And so people do desire to get out. So we would encourage you to come down to some of these events I just talked about. And as I have done several times here, I go back and get this nice pendant I have of Batavia that shows the state of Illinois in red, white, and blue with the name Batavia written over it, and it's in the form of a heart. And I think this speaks to the sense of togetherness and understanding and appreciation and special friendships that exist in this world, and deeply connected friendships, that this illustrates what Batavia at the end of the day is all about. And as a community, we are blessed and very fortunate that we have such a great, outstanding relationship with one another, and we can talk to each other, we can understand, we can disagree, but at the end we can all come back and continue our lives. So anyway, I just wanted to share that message with everybody and wish you a good week, and please be appreciative of the history that will be acknowledged in the days ahead. Thank you.